Here's the KTM keys to the Moto.
Well, first off, have a positive attitude, right? You want to feel good about what you're doing, and especially the heat can kill that positive attitude. Jet Lawrence mentioned on his podium interview about flow through the turns. That's exactly what I'm talking about. These lines are going to change throughout these motos as the day goes on. You have to keep that momentum. And we've got a brand new start here. These guys have not taken a gate drop here, and so nail that start, get out front, and make life easy.
Here we go, 450 Moto 1. Very tricky right-left combo here, acclaimed a couple of 250 riders. Let's see if they can go clean here in 450 Moto 1. Looks good.
Yeah, I tell you, I didn't think that second turn was going to flow as well as it is. Oh,
there's the pile up.
Too soon.
Joey Savacci, Ben LeMay in it, and Colby Kopp as well. I think it's Ken Roczen, yes, in the lead right now. He's at the motosport.com whole shot. Cooper Webb and Ferrandis coming through next. And one of the Suzukis, Max Anstey, back at action, missed our last race. And this is his best start of the year on the Twisted Tea HEP machine. So Ferrandis, whose starts have been getting better as the year goes on, he's fine. He's in third. But let's see what Roczen can do. Roczen, we've seen him grab the lead even when he doesn't get good starts. His first lap has been lethal. So it's going to be interesting. How big a gap can he open when he starts the race in the #1 spot?
Yeah, but he's just so hot cold. It's like last week you see him go from 7th to 1st. You're like, wow, okay, this is the guy. And then he fades and doesn't win the Moto. So he's got a lot to prove here. I think probably just a lot to prove to himself right now. A clear track. He needs to find that flow, set some lap times, and try to go out and win this Moto. And if you notice right to the top here is the Fox Racing VIP Suite, one of the perks of being the sponsor of this facility here. So all the fans up there at the top of the hill cheering for their man, Ken Roczen.
Yeah, that looked pretty packed even in the first 250 Moto.
Well, look at that
out
line.
front. Wow.
I mean, I haven't seen anybody take the outside through there all day.
And look at how beautiful it set him up for that roller section. And when Roczen is on, it doesn't look that difficult. It just floats around the racetrack. But the first lap speed hasn't been a problem. We got a long way to go to see if he can hold it. We know Cooper Webb has been showing some determination as of late. A much improved performance from Webb at our last race. Got his first podium of the year, but he is under fire from Ferrandis.
Well, Webb's one of those riders that has something to prove. I mean, he started out this championship just struggling every race. It seemed like he hit every bump on the track, just could find no flow. And little by little, he's clawed himself back up into the leaderboard. His lap times keep getting better. His speed keeps getting better. And so now it's a great start here at Fox Raceway, putting himself in the second position.
And Anstey holding tough in fourth. Haven't seen much of Eli Tomac. He's a few positions further back, the winner of our last race. So we focus in again on Webb versus Ferrandis for second as Roczen tries to pull away.
Wow, look at that. That turn right there was so wet earlier today. Now we've got dust coming up. It is super hot out, 100 degrees. Slight breeze right here is just drying out the race course here. The track workers, they put some water down in certain spots, but certainly it'll be gone by the end of this Moto.
And back to the top of this hill we go. Look at this. Webb starting to roll back up on Roczen. Oh, this could get interesting in a hurry as Webb and Ferrandis, who's coming with him, start to close. Tomac up to fifth, ahead of Schock.
Yeah, Schock, look at that, sixth. Another great start.
And Christian Craig's back at it. He actually called it early in our second practice today. And they said it was a race time decision if he would be able to ride. He missed our last race, Craig. But he is out there, and he's running in seventh ahead of Bogle, Hartraft, and Freddie Noren, who's back from an injury. The broken hand suffered at Washougal. We might have a battle for the lead on our hands here.
Yeah, notice all three right. Well, the first two are going wide.
Yeah, Webb picked up on that line. Webb had a lot to say in our press conference after the race last week. He hadn't spoken to the media much because he hadn't been on the podium, hadn't been in any of the press conferences this year. Made a huge change to the bike. From what some people are able to ascertain, there's a brace they run on the frame that they've taken off. And he said he thought Roger DeCoster and Ian Harrison at KTM were going to murder him for taking that off the bike. It was a pretty drastic change, but it worked.
Well,
and go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I can make an assumption on that is whenever the chassis, you add some gussets and braces and stuff, that's to add rigidity. And to me, earlier in the season, it seemed like his suspension was stiff. It seemed like the bike was stiff. I kept watching, like, what's going on? That's why I made the comment. It looked like he hit every bump on the track. Now, when you soften up the chassis some, add a little more flex, it allows it to give. Bike seems to be better. And, hey, whatever the rider wants, the rider should get, right? You're the one that's on it. You're the one that has to ride it.
Yeah. Well, the pressure is on Webb to prove it can make a difference. It did for 1 week at least. And he's trying to keep Roczen in sight right now for the number 2 spot. And you have Ferrandis in third. Now, Webb didn't put it all on the bike. He said he's trying to improve his outdoor game, needs to work more outside lines, momentum, standing up more, all the other things the other riders have been doing. So he's working on himself and the motorcycle. I'll give him credit for this. The guy, it has been a pretty rough outdoor season. He could have just called it and said, I'm going to cruise. But he's still trying. He's still trying to make improvements late in the game. And it's paying off here. He's catching Roczen.
Yeah, well, Roczen, couple laps in. Now all of a sudden, he's got some pressure by Webb. You've got Ferrandis right there, only 2.6 seconds back. Great ride for Max Anstey, who's in fourth.
Yep, and Tomac fifth. So we have a battle for the lead. So Roczen, the whole shot, pulls away. Now Webb has reeled him back in about 5 minutes into it. You know Ferrandis isn't going anywhere. He's still solid in third. And that's what this class has delivered all year long. Regardless of who the players are or the order, we end up getting pretty good racing almost every time we drop the gate.
Last week's winner, Tomac, he's a little over 6 seconds back in fifth. He looked fantastic earlier today in qualifying, and I look for him here in the second half of this moto. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Tomac start to creep up into the top 3.
This is by far the best run of the year for Anstey. It's his first really good start. Haven't seen him up front early in these races much, so that's a sign for him. Let's see if Anstey can stay up there on the Suzuki as you watch the leaders running in formation. Just as quickly as Webb caught Roczen, Roczen stretched it back out. We'll go back to this battle for fourth with Anstey and Tomac. And have been waiting on this all year. Anstey, the Englishman, spent a long time back home, actually raced the amateur scene in the United States, then was gone back in Europe for about 10 years. And there were always races on the MXGP Tour, certain tracks, certain days, where he would run up front, could win motos. Went 1-1 at the Motocross of Nations, the World Team Championship a few years ago.
I was there in Matterley Basin, his home race, Motocross of Nations in England. Just had an outstanding day. I mean, that shows you what he's capable of. It's just, if you could just string them all together, if you could do 12 in a row, you could be champion instead of just one. But so far, it's a great start for Max Anstey. He's going to have his hands full with Tomac here, who's starting to get comfortable on the Kawasaki.
Yeah, and anyone holding Eli Tomac back has their hands full. Tomac.
And look, we've got Craig. Craig just behind this pair, starting to get into the scene here as he's made his way past Cody Schock.
Then it's Bogle, Hartraft, and Noren rounding out the top 10. Tomac really putting the attack on now. Meanwhile, Roczen has actually added to his lead over Webb. So Webb got to the rear wheel. Roczen responding. And here goes Tomac's on the inside, but not close enough. And we race back uphill.
Split section. Let's see if Tomac can make something happen on the outside. Well, he loses balance a little bit.
And able to hold it on the downhill, but that outside was not where Tomac wanted to end up.
No, it's not where he wanted to be. He just made a left and basically chopped over the inside rut to get back in the main groove.
Tomac going to have to work again to get Anstey. Oh, nice job getting the power to the ground through those rollers.
Watch this outside line here that Tomac takes. It's got... Nope, gets shut off.
Tomac and Anstey, a good battle for fourth. They've lost a lot of ground on the lead trio, so we'll focus on this. Roczen continuing to stretch it a bit over Webb and Ferrandis. Tomac around the outside, going to get a big run. There he is to the inside. Switches from outside in.
That looked way too easy. I mean, I don't know whether it was a bad line choice by Anstey. He just seems to have fallen off the pace just a little bit. But Tomac, it's like he just apexed the turn and gained a few bike links on him all at once.
Just as quickly as Webb had caught Roczen, they lose ground, and now he's going to have to deal with Ferrandis again. And this is critical because Ferrandis could wrap up the title today, but he needs to match or beat Roczen in the overall points at the end of the day. And right now, he's going to lose a few points to Roczen. So still some racing and things to play for here in this first moto.
Wow, look at all the rocks on the downside of that step up. There are some huge rocks there that are starting to show.
Well, remember back to our opener, Adam Cianciarulo, the first couple laps of the season was gone. Had almost a 10-second lead a few laps in, and he said, I didn't hit a rock, I hit a boulder. There's a boulder on one of those hillsides, and he lost the lead. Oh, Ferrandis on the inside. Let's see if it works. Webb just able to hold him. Ferrandis to the inside again. Oh, he's got the attack on, and this time he makes the pass.
Nice move there, just stayed after it. And this is where the confidence and the belief comes into play. I mean, Ferrandis knows that he's the guy to beat right now. He knows that he's stronger than anyone out there.
And this has been the story for Ferrandis. He picks them off one by one. He gets them in, yes. So you're in the danger zone. Awfully hard to hold this guy off. Ferrandis and Ken Roczen, we've seen this quite a bit this year. These riders struggled and battled back and forth for the points lead in the early goings. And then once Ferrandis really got his hands around it, he has not let go. For Roczen, what's on the line? He needs to beat Ferrandis today to at least keep the title alive. If Ferrandis beats Roczen today, it's over. He's champion with a race to spare.
Well, it was 3.3 seconds about the time that Ferrandis got into second place when he made his way past Webb. I mean, it's less than 1.8 right now. I mean, he's on it. And you just wonder, you know, what Ken Roczen are we going to see this moto? Is he going to ride a safe race and just go, okay, I'm gonna ride, you know, in my zone, or is he going to really battle and fight Ferrandis for these points and for this win in this moto?
It has been so tough to hold Ferrandis back. That is what he has done all year long. Not the best starter, maybe not lightning quick early laps in the moto, but he starts sinking his teeth into this field at the halfway mark, and we're nearly there right now. And he is already putting the attack on Roczen. Side by side, Roczen able to hold him off for the moment. Now Ferrandis going to switch lines and use this diagonal rut to the inside, and Ferrandis already has it.
Jason, that just looked way too easy to me. I mean, you would just think that Roczen would put up more of a fight at this point. I don't know. It's like bad line choice. Just left the inside open, and Ferrandis is, okay, well, I guess I'll step on through here and take the lead.
Yep. So he's picked off Webb and Roczen, and you know what he's going to do next. He's going to try to hammer out a couple of laps and really open up a gap. And this is big. This is the difference between being able to wrap the title up today or not. And there's the difference. It would be a 53-point advantage for Ferrandis. Just needs to maintain that to the end of the race day. And if he does so, 50 points plus with a race to go, you're champ.
Which would be such an accomplishment here for this Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha 450 team, which is a brand new team this year.
Hey, we're 15 minutes into the moto. Yep, 15 minutes to go. 15-minute call to Geico. Save 15% on your insurance. Now look at this. As quickly as Roczen gave up the lead, he's trying to run with the 14. And that has been the difference, the hot and cold for Roczen. He certainly has the speed to do it. Let's send it down to Ashley.
Just a simple message for Ken Roczen from his mechanic Jordan as he came by the mechanics area. He said, see lines. So just open your eyes, take a look around the track. You know you can make a pass if you could just see the lines around you.
Oh, he better get going. Webb is now under fire. Eli Tomac has found his stride. How far forward could Tomac go in the rankings? Looking for third right now.
Yeah, Tomac really starting to come alive here as we're in the second half of Moto 1. Certainly a three-time champion. He knows how to get it done. And remember, he won the race last week, so he definitely has got the Kawasaki dialed in. Fitness is definitely there, and we'll see him making a few line changes right there, trying to stay out of the roost.
So here's Tomac working Webb over for a podium spot. And much like Ferrandis, when Tomac gets rolling, he's hard to hold back. Oh, so deep those ruts at the top of the hill just cannot flow through there.
Oh, yeah. When you see the riders come to almost a complete stop right there, I mean, that. Uh-oh, Tomac hard on the throttle.
Webb able to fight him off. They scrub together. Webb's going to be in the inside. And that line works a little better. He's able to control the main race line.
Well, look, the racing line there that Webb went down was just on the inside of those yellow track. It's supposed to be the track markers.
Whoa!
I think they're suggestions at this point.
Tomac came wide open up the inside, almost ran into Webb, gave him just enough room.
This track is really starting to get choppy. I mean, starting to get whooped out. Not a smooth line to be had anywhere.
Tomac greasing this outside, getting the bike back down to the ground to reset the attack on Webb. And Webb will fight for it. Has always been a good starter since he's jumped onto this KTM a couple of years ago. We saw him fight, try to ride a wide bike this year, but he simply wasn't fast enough to hold these guys back. Only recently now has he been able to successfully defend positions. I don't know how long he can do it against Tomac, but he's at least survived so far.
You know, that is one thing about Webb. I mean, no matter what position he's in, you see him gritting it out.
Yep.
Like, he never seems to, you never really see him pull up and go, okay, just, I'm going to, cruise through the rest of this moto. He could be battling for 10th and still be trying to hammer it. That's just part of his nature and why he's a multi-time champion.
Yeah, the problem was it did end up being 10th far too often at the beginning of this championship. Now, a lot of riders are out, so that's automatically going to move almost everybody up in the order later in the year because we've had so many riders out with injury and illness. But there's no doubt that Webb's pace is closer to the front runners as well. And Webb has a little extra motivation today. He's got a group of names going to be that he's supporting via part of his riding gear. Let's send it to Ashley for more on that.
Yes, Cooper Webb felt the need to support the 13 service members that we lost last week in Afghanistan. So he wanted to honor those members. He has them on his boots this weekend.
Yeah, that is really cool of Cooper Webb to do that, showing support. And he's digging deep right now. Tomac doing everything he can to get him. Tomac on the inside again. Same situation as a lap ago. Not quite able to make the pass. And then we'll go into these rollers coming up next. Tomac on the outside. He's trying to get a run at it.
Webb back to the inside. Guarding this inside line, which is really quick. See Tomac tried that outside a couple of times there before this big roller. Couldn't make it work.
And we'll switch back to the Thor drone cam to keep an eye on this battle. Tomac looking for a third. Webb just keeps fighting for it as they go past the mechanics area. Good racing. Webb versus Tomac for podium real estate. We're back. Max is backing the Fox Raceway National, second time of the year that we have come to race at this track. Cooper Webb holding off Eli Tomac. This is for third. Tomac is all over him. But it says 97. I think we could reach triple digits today.
Yeah, but look at the humidity. I mean, 20. I was watching the U.S. men's national team soccer game. They were in El Salvador the other night. It was 89% humidity. Here we're 20. It's like this is just about as dry as it can get.
Yeah, big difference from where we were the last 2 weeks, both Ironman in Indiana and Budds Creek in Maryland. We've come west, but it is blazing sunshine today. And impressive by Webb. Tomac got there. Tomac was side by side with him several times. We've gone probably 10, 12 minutes where Webb has been able to hold him off.
The officials waving the blue flag there for the lapped riders, signifying that the leaders are coming by if you're new to motocross. I think Webb has a lot to ride for, though. I think there's a lot of pride on the line here. And, I mean, he is your reigning Monster Energy Supercross champion and, had such a great beginning to this year, earning that championship again, and struggled throughout the beginning of the summer, but now has made some changes to his program, and things are starting to come together.
Things are coming together for Tomac again, though. He's back right on the rear fender of Webb. Now, he's been shading inside in this next corner. Now he's going to choose something different and just stay where Webb is and enter on the outside. One set of jumps, make a left and another set.
A little over 6 minutes plus 2 laps left in this race, and I'm telling you guys, being 100 degrees out, this is the part of the moto where that heat really starts to set in. I mean, you are feeling it.
We saw those 250 riders definitely feeling it in their first moto a little over an hour ago, and it's probably only even hotter now. So Webb just keeps fighting. Roczen, you see, is 7 seconds adrift of Ferrandis, who is looking to put the final touches on a championship run today. Whoa, it's close.
Big kick. Trying to find a smooth line there on the inside, and Webb sitting down as he exits. Oh, he gets caught up with lappers.
Oh, is Tomac, yes, able to take advantage.
I mean, and these lappers at this point, they are definitely struggling.
Yeah, these guys got to be hot. They've got to be tired. And there is Tomac, the number 3, into third. So finally a break in this battle. So we have a chance to show you the motorsports.com. Whole shot replay will show it to you in a minute. So Tomac's in third. I'll tell you what changed, though. It took so long to get Webb that he is really going to be hard-pressed to get any further up and try to catch Roczen, who had the motorsport.com whole shot. We'll show it to you here.
Well, most of the first gate picks were more to the outside as you come through that first and second turn area. Going to hit the third turn before we finally get to the line. And that was Ken Roczen all the way on that HRC Honda.
Yeah, that's about as big a lead you're going to have a whole shot strike. A couple of bike lengths on Webb, Ferrandis, Anstey, Craig, the rest of the field. So Roczen the whole shot, led for a bit. Ferrandis caught him. Ferrandis quickly went by. Roczen hung with him for a lap or two. Now the lead has really opened up. 6.8 seconds is the gap between Ferrandis and Roczen. And Ferrandis in the closing stages of this first moto. And that much closer to a rookie 450 title. Of this series, Dylan Ferrandis leading. We'll catch up to Cody Schock, continuing to do a great job as a privateer, running 7th right now. And Schock and the FXR Chaparral Honda told us yesterday that he just got the word that this privateer team will not be back next year. So suddenly he's a free agent and he's looking for a ride.
Well, he's certainly putting together a great resume this summer, and these are the type of rides that the team owners are looking for. It's unfortunate. I did speak to one of their team owners earlier today, and he said they took a big risk, budget-wise, trying to do the motocross championship this year, and it's unfortunate because he's put in such great rides, but the team's not going to be able to continue after this.
All right, we'll see if Schock's able to get some other support for next year. Certainly hope so. Rider just coming into his own, relative unknown out of Delaware. And Justin Bogle's been getting better as the year has gone on. Bogle said he's got a lot of physical issues. He said he's only good for a few laps at the beginning of these motos, and the fatigue really sets in. But he's still digging. Got 7th at a moto last week, which is his best, and now running in 8th on the Rocky Mountain ATV-MC WPS team. He is trying to get Schock. They had a pretty good battle in the second moto last week, picking right up where they left off. Wait a minute, Tomac not giving up. He's making a charge to Roczen, trying to get second.
Timing and scoring has him in second.
Wow. Went from, then there we see Roczen. So just like that, Tomac has taken the spot away.
Wow. It's hard to believe Roczen is so strong at the beginning of these motos, and then here towards the end of the moto just does not have the same fitness, maybe, the same intensity. I don't know how to answer that question right now.
Well, it puts Tomac in position to potentially win the overall at the end of the day. He got second in the first moto last week, and you could see he knew that was prime real estate to try to win Moto 2 and finally get an overall win. So Tomac's done that. Took a lot of work to get there. And, for Roczen, first laps, always amazing. Sometimes all the laps are good. Going back about a month ago at Unadilla, he was absolutely dominant. But here down the stretch, it has been tough.
Well, and it takes me back also to the race at Millville where he crashes in the first turn. Looks like he might not even ride the second one. He comes back and wins the moto.
That's great, yeah. Yeah, so it's there. We know this with the two-time champion of the 450 class. Meanwhile, for Tomac, no matter how hot it is, how difficult it is, there's never a question of the fitness of him. But he's definitely out of time to make anything happen with Ferrandis way out front.
It was, about 11 seconds earlier. He's closed it down a little bit. Catches the lapped rider right there. It's going to slow him up just a little bit. But like you said, in terms of the overall for here today, second's as good as the first in the first moto. But then you have to go out and win that second moto to grab the overall. So not a bad ride.
Yeah, Tomac will definitely be motivated to do that. Shout out to Tomac's longtime mechanic, Brian Kranz. Tomac's going to be leaving the Kawasaki team next year, and Kranz will stay with the squad. Not going to be a race day mechanic any longer, going to work, as they say, in-house with the team in the race shop. But they have had a 10-year run together, 2011 season through now. And really, for riders at the elite level, to have a mechanic with them for a decade, that's almost unheard of. So really one of the best
switching
combos.
Teams.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it was a big move that he made when he stayed with Tomac when he left the Geico Honda team and went over to Kawasaki. And was a great choice. So they've been a great partnership this whole time.
Yeah, so you're talking Tomac, who is right around 4th all-time, whether it's combined moto wins and overall wins in just this class only, or both 250 and 450 motocross combined. A top 5 all-time guy, along with 4 championships, 3 on the 450 and 1 on the 250. And just about all those wins and titles delivered with Kranz spinning the wrenches. So shout out to that combination that will come to an end at the end of the year. Dylan Ferrandis, this combination, Star Racing Yamaha, is coach and trainer David Villeman. Alex Campbell is mechanic, and everybody on this Star team, this combination is pretty good as well. 55 points he'd have over Roczen now, which makes this title that much easier to wrap up again. He needs 50 on Roczen by the end of the day.
I mean, he's got to be wondering, like, how am I making this look so easy?
Yes, because Ferrandis, who always wears his heart on his sleeve, the respect he has for the likes of Tomac and Roczen is massive.
Exactly. And he's like, wow, I'm just in the zone, and he's got to be surprised that his performance is this dominant. Not that he's winning, not that he doesn't have the capability.
Wait a minute, what is this? Roczen is right back on Tomac. And this is kind of the puzzling thing about it. Again, we see the speed in bursts. And then Roczen trials riding through that corner, riding and standing up, and loses a bunch of ground again.
Well, that tells you, well, it's hard to see from the camera angle right there, but if we get another drone shot of that back there, I'd really love to see what that downhill looks like in that left-hander.
Yes, Tomac had issues there earlier, didn't he?
Yeah.
Way wide. So that must be more challenging than it looks. So just like that, Roczen's challenge has extinguished. I don't even see him back there. What an odd exchange. Where is Roczen? Wait a minute. He's got a problem. He is off the pace. So he was challenging for second a moment ago, and now he's circulating, but not at full speed.
Is it possible that the heat has got to him? You know?
Yeah, it could happen.
I mean, it's brutal out there right now.
Yes, and we saw those 250 riders struggling. Roczen probably wishing that their water in the start, if he could get a little bit of that.
I'd love to see if Ashley can see what's on his pit board.
Wow, so puzzling there. Roczen putting in a last charge to try to get Tomac. And Roczen going to just try to hold on. Can he even deliver it in third? White flag is out. It's got to feel good to see that.
Well, on a hot day like this.
Yeah.
But if you're Dylan Ferrandis, the day is going as planned. You've got a 10-second lead. You're seeing your nearest competitor in the championship fade back little by little into the rearview mirror, and more points.
It has all come together, this team first-year effort, taking over Yamaha's 450 program. When I talked to some of the Yamaha folks in the offseason, they said this is not a budget move. This isn't to shift money out of our resources into Star Racing. This is a performance move. The Star Racing team has been so successful in the 250s. We just want that success in the 450 class. So we're going to give them the opportunity to do it. I don't know if anyone expected them to deliver this quickly in year one.
No, definitely not. And remember, his teammate Aaron Plessinger had some amazing rides earlier in this championship also. They just have a great team chemistry. I mean, that has so much to do with it. A lot like the success that HRC Honda has had this summer.
Yeah, it has been mostly those two teams up front in both classes. But it looks like in the 450 division, Ferrandis stretching it just as Jet Lawrence is in the 250 class. And this guy is just tough. He might not be everyone's favorite rider from a fan perspective, but it's impossible to not respect the dedication of the craft and just the darn grit that Ferrandis has. He's just so strong late in these races. He just picks them off one by one. And if it's hot, if it's rough like this, you can forget it. He's got a big lead over everybody. So Ferranda's going to bring it home and take a major step toward wrapping the title early. What a phenomenal season it has been. Another accolade for him. He wins the first moto here in California.
Do you ever get the sense that he surprises himself? Sort of that
100%.
body language. I mean, yeah, he's stoked he won the moto, but he's almost like, wow, I just won another moto.
Roczen is going to carry it home for third. Saw Webb kept digging to try to get him. He'll end up fourth. We've been told already by Honda and Roczen's crew that he's going to skip his podium interview, so he must be struggling physically. Still able on almost autopilot to bring it home for